Good morning guys, welcome back. We have another video for you today, and today is a sewing how-to. It's a super easy, you know I'm all about really quick, easy, simple 5-minute projects, using up them scrap pieces. Brilliant for beginners, brilliant for people who are sitting down at the machine for the very first time. That's what these projects are about. So very quick, simple, easy, first time projects. And today is no exception. It's beyond easy. Like seriously, you don't even need to have a sewing machine for this. You could do this by hand stitching. We are using a sewing machine obviously because it's more fun in my opinion. But yes, we are going to be getting on with, you've probably seen it in the little intro just then. I've got one here actually. These tiny little cute pocket tissue holders. So if you're anything like me, I always have to have tissues in my bag, because you just never know when you might need them. So these cute little handy pouches are perfect just to pop them inside, throw them in your handbag, perfect. These are also a brilliant idea for your craft fairs. So if you do market stores, craft fairs, Christmas gifts, anything like that, these are perfect for that. You can whip these up, as I say, with your scrap pieces within minutes. There's like 4 seams on this project, that's it. 4 seams and you're done. So a really great idea for your craft markets, and they also look really pretty on your stall. Or you can just make them for yourself, for gifting, all of that good stuff. So that's what we'll be getting on with today. As I say, super easy, super quick. So if you're interested in knowing how to do this, stick around and let's get started. So guys, as you can see, for today's project, we need just 2 pieces of fabric. We have one which is 7.5 inches by 5.5 inches, and we have another which is 6.5 inches by 5.5 inches. And that is everything you need. So alongside our fabric, there are a few other items that will really help you out during your project, and they are obviously some pins or clips. I prefer using these little clips, but obviously you can use pins. If you're close to an iron, that would be great. If not, just something to help roll out those seams. It just makes life a little bit easier. You will also need something sharp and snippy like so. And finally, something sharp and pointy like a point turner, a knitting needle, a chopstick, anything that's going to help you point out those corners and make everything nice and neat. And that is it guys, that's pretty much everything we need. So yeah, let's get sewing. So the first thing we do is lay down our larger piece of fabric. Now this was the 7 by 5 inches by 5.5 inches. We lay that down first, and then we take our second piece of fabric, which was the smaller piece, and we're going to lay that face down and line it up just along the edge there. So just to keep this in place, I'm going to pop on a few little clips just to keep them edges nice and neat. And then all we're going to do is about 1/4 inch seam allowance down one side. So I've placed that fabric under the foot. It's all ready to go, and don't forget we are 1/4 inch seam allowance and give a little back stitch at the beginning and the end. Let's sew. Make sure we stop to remove those pins or clips as we go. Just take it nice and easy, nice and slow at your own pace, whatever suits you. And we are at the end now, so let's give that a little back stitch just to make sure that's nice and secure. Okay guys, so we've sewn down this side, 1/4 inch seam allowance. All we need to do now is just snip off these little extra bits of thread, get them out the way. And then what we will do is get this end and do exactly the same, just line it up with the other end. So it's obviously smaller, so you do have to pull the fabric over to meet the edge. And then pop your clips on, as before, to keep that all in place, like so. And we are going to take it back to the machine and do exactly the same. So now we're on this side, 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way down. Let's sew. So back at the machine, I have just made a slight adjustment because my stitches looked like they were a little bit tight there, that they were pulling. So I've just made a tiny little tweak just on the tension, just to try and eliminate that. So yeah, just to release that tension on the stitches a little bit, I've adjusted my wheel here. So hopefully that will be a bit better. Let's give it a go and see. So exactly as before, back at the machine, fabric is under the foot, 1/4 inch seam allowance. We're going to back stitch at the beginning, back stitch at the end, and yeah, we're ready to go. Don't forget to remove them clips as you go and just take it nice and steady at your own pace. Okay guys, so those stitches do look a bit better. They're not pulling as tight there. So we've got all the way down one side, 1/4 inch seam allowance. Again, let's just snip off these excess bits of cotton, get them out of the way, like so. And we are ready for step 3. Okay, so the next step, guys, we're going to take our piece here and we are literally going to flip it so that it's right side out. So we're just going to turn that the other way. So our fabric is now facing the right way, the right side up, and it's not the wrong side down anymore. We're just going to flatten this out, making sure it's kind of even on both sides. You can see there's a little bit of a border on each side with that darker green. So yeah, we're just going to flatten that. And this is where, if you have an iron, just give it a little press on each side just to make your life a bit easier. I don't currently have the iron with me, so I'm going to use my little rolly. Just going to go over that ever so slightly. Just give it a little press down. I mean, it doesn't do a great deal, but you know what? Every little helps and all that. So yeah, there is our piece. Okay guys, so what we need to do now is find the center point of our fabric because we'll be folding these ends in to meet in the middle. So the best way to do that is to just take your fabric, flip it over and just match up them end pieces. Once you've aligned them, just flip it back, give it a little crease down the middle there, and then pop a little chalk mark just on each end there where the fold is, and that's where you'll know where your center point is. And when you open it up, you can see your chalk marks and you know that that's where you need to fold your fabric into. Okay, so next step is we will fold each side in, we'll pop some little pins on, and it will be ready to take to the machine for the next step. So let's take this end first. Here's our chalk marks, so let's line that up there. So we know that's nice and even. We're going to pop that little pin in each side just to keep that in place. Exactly the same on this side. We'll bring that in to meet that chalk mark. Pop a little pin in again on each side. So it should now look like so. Okay, so now that's all in place, all we need to do is stitch 1/4 inch seam allowance down this side, 1/4 inch seam allowance down this side with a back stitch either end. So let's take this to the machine and get this final bit of sewing done. Okay, so we're back at the machine. It's the final bit of sewing that we need to do. I told you, very easy, just 4 seams in this. It's under the foot, it's all ready to go. So yeah, let's get this final bit done and then we can see how it turned out. So I'm going to remove that pin. Do a little back stitch, and away we go. Lifting that foot up there to make sure that fabric is nice and flat. I'm going to go across, back and forth a few times actually, just across where the join is. Just to make sure it's nice and strong because obviously there'll be some tension on that when the tissues are getting pulled out. So we want to make sure that it's got some durability. Little back stitch to finish. And let's switch sides. same as before. Just gonna lift that foot up, make sure it's nice and flat. And then do a couple of stitches back and forth just where that join is. Again, just for durability. Just take it nice and slow, no rush. So here is our finished piece, well, almost finished piece. So we've just stitched down each side there. We just need to snip off these excess bit of cottons. And what I'm also going to do is just trim off the corners, make them nice and neat, and trim off a little bit of the excess fabric that we don't need, just so when we flip it, there's less bulk. Okay, so I'm here, I'm going to snip off all these straggly ends because we don't need them. So let's get rid of them. We just throw them on the floor because why not? We'll brush up the mess later, it doesn't matter. So yeah, any little straggly bits of cotton, just get rid of them. There was also a few little frayed bits on the end there, which I'm going to get rid of. And then, as I said before, I'm just going to give these corners a little trim. I mean, on a project this small, it's probably not really that necessary. Probably don't need to do it. But I've said it now, so I'm going to. And any excuse to get out the giant scissors. If you know, you know. So they're back. I know you love them. So yeah, let's just give them corners a little trim. As I say, probably not really necessary because this is such a tiny little project. It doesn't really matter, but actually I will give that a little trim there to get rid of them little frayed edges. Let's give that little corner trim there. Obviously, be very careful you don't snip into your stitches. You don't want to ruin your work. Oh, made a right mess there. So that's all trimmed, cut, snipped, sewn, ready to flip it right side out and see how it looks. So here we go. Literally, there's your opening. Just flip it the right way. Now this is where you need a little sharp object like a point turner. If you don't have a point turner, that's absolutely fine. You can use a chopstick like I used to use. I have upgraded. I've got a little point turner just because I found this at a craft fair and I loved it. So I got myself one. But yeah, a point turner, a chopstick, even a knitting needle, and all you're doing is just popping it inside and pushing out them corners just to make sure it's all lovely and finished. It just gives it that more polished, professional look. And yeah, it just looks much nicer. Just again, be careful you don't push too hard because you could push a little bit too hard and pop through the fabric, pop through your stitches, or just pop a hole in the fabric, which we don't want. So once we've done that, I'm just going to give that a little roll on the seams there, make sure it's all nice. And then again, if you've got your iron, give it a quick press just to make it, again, just to finish it off, just to make it look finished, polished, perfect, neat. I don't have the iron with me, as I said before, but this is it, guys. It's finished. That is it. That is your little pocket holder, the little pocket for your tissues to go inside. So I'm going to zoom you in a bit and give you a better look. But the thing is, how easy was that? I mean, that is literally minutes. That is a 5-minute job, 5-minute project. Anybody could do that. Even if you don't have a sewing machine, you can hand sew that, no problem. It's just got 4 seams and that is it. And as I say, you only need tiny little pieces of fabric for that. So any scraps you've got lying around, grab them all together, mix and match them, make them fun. They don't have to colour coordinate. The patterns don't have to match. You can do absolutely any combination whatsoever. In fact, they're more fun when you mix and match them. I love a little bit of colour, a little bit of a clash in pattern. It's just more fun. So yeah, whatever you've got, use it up. And as I say, if you do craft fairs, brilliant. What a great way to use up your scraps. Pop them on your craft fairs. A great little cute gift idea. So yeah, let's zoom in. Let's show you this close up. Let's pop some tissues in it and see how it is. But good work, guys. So here it is in all its glory. You can see it's got that lovely fabric and the nice little border in the middle there to open up and pop your tissues inside. So I've got some tissues here. I'm just going to put these in loosely. You can actually pop the whole packet in if you just wanted to carry the packet round. How cute do they look? Look at that, gorgeous. Lovely little tissue holder. Very easy to take out. and then very easy to just pick up and pop in your bag, and it keeps all your tissues nice and neat, nice and secure. And they just look cute. So yes, guys, there it is, your pocket tissue holder. Brilliant little project. Well done if you did manage to sew along. And if you've not tried it yet and you've just watched the video, then good luck. Well, not that you'll need it because it's so easy. Yes, gorgeous little cute pocket tissue holder. Slot that in your handbag and you're good to go. Tissues are protected and it just looks much nicer than carrying one of these around in your bag, you know? And it's always good to be prepared. I first got introduced to these when I went to a craft fair, and there was a lovely little old lady that had lots of little sewing projects like this, and she had some pocket tissue holders, and I bought a couple off her actually, and I gave them out as gifts. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a little go of these myself. And yeah, so it was that lovely lady that inspired me to give them a go, and I'm happy I did, because now I carry my own round in my bag, and yeah, I can make them as little gifts for other people. If you want to sell these, you can make your own packaging for them. You can just make some little paper bands, belly bands, to go around with your logo on, even your QR code or Instagram handles and things like that on there. But yeah, just a really gorgeous gift idea, guys. As you can see, I've got a few. These are ones that I've done during Christmas. So they've got like the Christmas stars fabric. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you enjoyed this little project. I do often post these sewing projects on my YouTube channel. They're always very quick, easy, beginner friendly. So if you are new to sewing, this is the perfect channel for you. Or if you just want to sew along, have a bit of fun, then yeah, why not? So if you don't want to miss them, hit the subscribe button. I know a lot of you have watched my videos but haven't yet subscribed. Guys, it doesn't cost anything to subscribe. It's free. So yeah, just hit that button, subscribe to my channel. And if you don't want to miss the sewing projects, just click your notification bell. Then you will be notified when I upload a video. I am fully aware that I don't just do sewing videos. I do travel vlogs, days out, things to do in the UK, things like that. I do also vlog that. So if that's not your cup of tea, that's absolutely fine. When you get the alert for a new video, you can just skip that one. I do try and alternate them a little bit. But yeah, there will be more sewing projects to come. So stick around, hit subscribe, and yeah, come back and play next time. Also, if you do happen to like travel content, or if you do want to know a bit more about the UK if you're not from the UK, or even if you are from the UK, you might just be looking for inspiration for days out or things to do, then you may also like my other videos. So yeah, why not subscribe? So guys, that is it for today. I will be back with you guys for my next upload, which will be Sunday at 4 p.m, because that's when my uploads are, every Sunday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, UK time. So yeah, come join me then. I'm not sure what the next one will be, but yeah, pop back and see. But until then, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate you as always. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next Sunday. Lots of love. Bye.